start box, and it'll be all on as they will be racing to mark number 1. It'll be a great day of racing here.
But Contact de la Pierre, back with a bang. I think he'll be able to hold on the inside. You keep fast in and out here. Brazil have got to keep here. France have got to...
And the hometown team are just that. The Flying Roos are flying to mark number 1 here in race number 2.
It's not Houdini, it's just mistakes from everyone. Todd, New Zealand, I don't know what's happened there.
Hello, everybody. Did everybody grab a seat who wants to be up front here? Thank you so much for being back with us. Welcome to the official opening press conference of the Oracle San Francisco Sail Grand Prix. Let the excitement, let the adrenaline rush begin. Once again, I'm your host, Natalie Morales, correspondent for CBS News and 48 Hours. I'm delighted to be back, invited once again to be here. I am hooked on SailGP, so what can I say? I'm a new fan and I'm loving it. It's great to be here to kick off the official start to this weekend event. It is the 5th stop of the 2025 season calendar. The Oracle San Francisco Sail Grand Prix rounds out SailGP's California doubleheader. Last week, of course, Los Angeles. It was wet and rainy on Friday. We've got a gorgeous setting here. It doesn't get more beautiful than here in the Bay in San Francisco. And of course, the stunning backdrop, the Golden Gate Bridge behind you. I mean, does it get any better than this? It does not. It's all to play for this weekend here on the Bay as fans come together to see firsthand the best athletes in this sport compete with national pride, personal glory, and the largest prize in sail racing, $12.8 million across the season, all on the line. Every athlete in this room wants that prize. Before we get started, though, we, of course, are powered by Oracle, title partner for this weekend event. SailGP is also, as you know, at the forefront of some of the most innovative and exciting tech developments in sport today. We're going to talk at great lengths about that in just a little bit. Did you hear those waves crashing against the rocks? I mean, that's just beautiful. It doesn't get better than that. We do want to give a quick note to our media here in the room to get started. We're going to bring our SailGP athletes up here shortly, have a moderated panel, and then we're going to open up the floor to questions so that you all can ask your questions, and afterwards you can have one-on-one interviews as well. We're going to give you time for that. To help set the scene, though, I want to welcome to the stage SailGP's Chief Technology Officer Warren Jones and Eric Heil, driver for Germany's SailGP team, presented by Deutsche Bank. Welcome. Thank you for being with us. Warren, of course, you have been with SailGP since the very beginning, 2019. And of course, we have seen how much the sport has grown, how much the evolution of the sport, how much has happened. Talk to us about the technology and staying at the forefront of the innovative technology in this sport.
It's been an amazing journey, to be honest. To where the boats started off in 2019 to where they are now is completely different. Today we manage around 53 billion data requests every single day into the Oracle Cloud. With that, then we have the ability to look at AI to be able to predict what's going on. Huge amounts of movements within the boat. We can talk to the boat. We can ask the athletes what they're doing on the boat and things like that. It's changed so much, it has.
And just in terms for the viewer experience as well, because it can sometimes be difficult to follow along if you don't really know what's happening. I mean, if we don't have the expertise, explain to us, that real-time data that you're getting, and we're going to talk to Eric about that as well, and some of the decision-making that goes into the sport and how you're able to watch as a viewer and follow along and get sort of that adrenaline rush along with the competitors.
So within those 53 billion data requests, so we have like 10 buckets. So within that bucket is what the coaches, which Eric's team will have, and they can see all the data. They don't just see their data, they see everybody's data as well. So they can be able to look at that data and go from there. We also have what we call Liveline, which is a augmented reality package that sits on top of our broadcast that explains sailing a little bit more as well. So you know where the boats are going, where they've been, and what speed they're going as well. But this is all powered by Oracle data. It really is. And cloud data as well. We send everything from here. We have high speed, high availability links available here today, and then they send it directly to the Oracle Cloud in about 110 milliseconds. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, those decisions then are made in 110 milliseconds as well. I think, Eric, when you're on that boat, you're getting that data talk to us about what you know, I mean, it's you're on the water, you're dealing with what you're dealing with, but then at the same time, you're hearing and you're talking and you're evaluating what the competition is doing as well.
Yeah, in general, it's a great setup. I mean, we would have wished for that in the Olympics, actually looking at the data of our rivals and getting access to that. I think it's super cool. It's our biggest chance as a younger team in the league to catch up, and yeah, we make the most use of it. We have a little data team also back in Germany, you know, analyzing what we figure is important to us for the moment, and yeah, I think couldn't think about SailGP without data anymore.
Because everything is out there and we're seeing all the data points here on the screens behind you. Is anything kept secret? Are you able to hold anything back?
I was actually wondering if teams still, you know, when they're leading and they have a little space that they, you know, cheat a little bit on the data, you know, doing different settings and stuff, but yeah, no,
nobody does that, right?
Most of it you figure out and you can see when they change and you can see what they changed, so there's nothing hidden.
Yeah, and you talked about the coaches on shore. You know, who does Germany have when you're talking to the control room in the booth? Who do you guys have, and what kind of information are they giving you?
It feels like they are the, you know, the 7th and 8th sailor on the boat. Right now they are, you know, in real time communicating with us, and they are telling us, you know, it's depending from team to team, how they distribute the tasks, but in our team they're also doing, you know, ley lines and, you know, very detailed stuff actually, which is good because they have 4 screens, looking at 4 screens, looking at different data, looking into other teams, what their setup is and what they're running. So yeah, it's a great opportunity, and we also try to make the best out of it.
Warren, back to you. Of course, AI is such a hot topic these days, and especially when it comes to sport. How is SailGP using AI to advance what's currently going on technologically speaking?
You know, I've mentioned how much data we have, and it's the human brain can't comprehend what that is. So you need AI to be able to do it. And you know, we've got a facility in Southampton where we build the components, we build the boats. You know, we're using AI. Oracle has an anomaly detection where we can work out that something's broken on a boat, and then that sends it straight back to Southampton, and then they start fixing it, getting it ready for the next events.
How quickly? We're talking like right in that moment?
Not milliseconds, but seconds.
Wow.
You know, we're using AI to be predictive, to be able to move forward, to know what's going to go on before it happens, because we have the data. We have a baseline of data. At the moment, we have around 2 trillion lines of code within our databases, and that's from all the events that we have in SailGP. So we can go back to every event. San Francisco, the first event in 2019, and look at the data and the things that we didn't predict in 2019. We can look at that now today and work that out as well.
Incredible. Okay, final question to you, Eric. Of course, Germany is looking to make up some points here in San Francisco on the leaderboard. Heading into this weekend, how are you all feeling about San Francisco, and what are you looking at? You got tip-top conditions here.
Yeah, it's actually a little bit surprising how good the breeze is in the forecast right now for this you know, part of the year. Yeah, we're really looking forward, especially, you know, back-to-back events help us to stay in the groove and to keep working on our skills on the boat. So this is really good for us. I think also really good for the league to have this opportunity, and yeah, really looking forward to get out there and to yeah, race.
Well, good luck to you, Eric, Warren. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. All right. Gentlemen, thanks. Without further ado, it is time to hear from some of the top athletes racing this weekend in San Fran. Let's introduce them, starting with San Francisco's own flight controller for the U.S. SailGP team, Hans Henken. Hi, Hans. Next up, Nikolai Sehested, driver for Rockwool Denmark SailGP team. Hello, Nikolai. Thank you. Defending champion Nicole Van Velden, strategist for Spain, España. Welcome, Nicole. 3-time SailGP champion Tom Slingsby, driver for the Australia SailGP team. Hello, Tom. And last but not least, winner of last weekend's Los Angeles Sail Grand Prix, Giles Scott of the North Star Canada SailGP team. Hello again, Giles. Good to see you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to take a seat right next to you. Our couch got a little bit bigger, it seems. Many more of you here. Welcome to all of you. Good to see you. And before we get started, I do want to take a moment and acknowledge the incredibly accomplished athletes that we have with us here today. I mean, they are top of the line here. Between the athletes on the stage, 4 Rolex SailGP champions, 6 Olympic medals, and numerous world and national titles. So that tells you how competitive this group is right here. Welcome. All right, let's start first with, of course, this being the back-to-back competition that it is. Last weekend was Los Angeles. Here we are in San Francisco. I mean, Tom, how does this change preparations? I mean, you had 5 days literally to get here and to get in shape and ready to go.
Yeah, we did. It's the first time for us doing back-to-back events. I think that's amazing for SailGP. It's sort of breaking new ground all the time and showing what's possible in our sport. It's amazing for us as the Australian team. We had a bit of a team building trip. We went out to Joshua Tree, out to the desert. There was a lot of kumbaya and sitting around a campfire. It was good. We're all very close now. And yeah, we're ready to roll. We looked through all the data. We looked at all the things that we could do better from LA. And yeah, we're excited to head straight into this event.
We know how tight that team is. I mean, team bonding is important. That's what gets you guys, up there on the leaderboard, right?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, obviously, you can't shortcut experience together. And we're fortunate in our team. I've sailed with a lot of these guys for well over 10 years, closer to 15 years for a lot of them. And I mean, yeah, I do feel for some of these younger teams who you can't sort of shortcut that sort of experience. You have to put in your time. But yeah, the way these teams are going and the rate of improvement for the teams, I'm so impressed by how they all link together, because I know it's taken us a long time to get that sort of camaraderie within a team, and some of these teams are gelling so quickly together.
And Hans, you returned to SailGP after injury to then win your bronze medal in Paris. What's it like to be back racing the best of the best in this sport here?
Yeah, first off, I think it's just awesome to be back here in San Francisco. I mean, I've been a part of the Bay Area for the last 10 years, having graduated from Stanford University, and I just can't wait for this weekend. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Really looking forward to getting on the water. But yeah, our team's been working really hard. It's been fantastic being back a part of this team, and we're really looking forward to being able to put to practice and execute on what we've been working on. We weren't also in Joshua Tree, but we also did a little bit of our own, performance data at the Red Bull Performance Center this last week, and yeah, being able to create that team atmosphere and the team bonding goes a long way to being able to build on those skill sets and build on that trust and cooperation on the team. And really looking forward to putting that into practice this weekend.
We got to talk a little bit about coming back from injury, because we know how dangerous this sport is. And your injury back in 2023, you were knocked unconscious, 2 broken ribs, broken sternum. Not to harp on the injuries, but coming back to this sport after an injury like that, is there any hesitation at all, or is it just all pure determination and strength and will?
Yeah, it's an extreme sport. We're out here pushing the boats as hard as we possibly can on the envelope all the time, and that's the way that you get the best out of the boats, and that's the best you get out of your teammates. And yeah, coming back from injury is a process, just like anything else. Trying to get better on the water, trying to get better, recover from an injury. It's about taking those little small steps along the way and kind of sticking with the process and believing in what you're doing is actually getting you where you need to go. And yeah, I had a great team behind me, being able to step me through all those little steps along the way, and got me not only physically prepared but mentally prepared to be back in the boat again. And so, yeah, it's slowly but surely you kind of get used to it, but at the same time, yeah, really ready to race here in San Francisco.
And the safety equipment is top notch, right? I mean, talk to us about what gear is used to ensure that you guys are kept safe and injury free.
Yeah,
as much as you can.
Of course. SailGP is doing a fantastic job of updating the boats constantly. As the boats get faster and faster and faster, safety is taking a big priority on trying to make sure that the athletes are safe and be able to be a part of this league for a long generation to come. And yeah, I think it's a big part of what our sport's all about. It's an extreme sport, and so you have to meet it where it's kind of at. And I think the league is doing a great job of that.
So you've been the person who's probably sailed these waters more than anyone here. What is the key to succeeding?
Oh, wow. I think there's a lot of people on this stage that probably sailed just as much as I have. But, you know, the key is to pay attention to the weather. You know, I think being here in wintertime is going to change the conditions a little bit. I think peak summer conditions are a little bit different than peak winter conditions. So I think the forecasting is going to be really important. And, you know, I think everything that has to do about sailing is being able to look around, use your eyes, and make those instinctual decisions around the race course. And I think that you'll see the best teams doing that this weekend.
Well, it is why San Fran has hosted the Grand Final seasons 2, 3, and 4. Tom, you won 2 of those. What does it take to succeed on the Bay?
Yeah, I mean, Hans sort of pointed it out, keeping an eye on the conditions. And it takes, honestly, it takes a lot of bravery from a team. He has the most extreme conditions on the circuit, the most winds, the biggest waves, the coldest conditions at times on the water. And you need to push the boat harder. If you want to win, you need to push harder than anyone else. And I think the Australian team, early in the championship, we had a bit of an advantage in the stronger winds. We were sort of more used to those conditions than other teams. But as we saw last year with Spain taking the win, other teams are stepping up to the plate in that regard and getting better. And so our advantage has definitely diminished a lot here in San Francisco, but we still think we're a tough team to beat here, and we're going to try to show that this weekend.
Yeah, speaking of that win, Nicole, going into this, you're defending champions. So, you know, coming in, is that on your shoulders, that burden to prove you're here to stay?
Well, I think for sure you come into the season knowing a whole different way than last season when we started the season coming from finishing last, and now we're starting the season off having won the championship. So clearly that creates different expectations, not just inside the team, but also outside the team. So it's a lot about managing those expectations and also just keep doing what we've been doing last season, focusing on what we need to improve, working on our weaknesses, and really trying to push ourselves and perform as best as we can in all of our individual positions. So I think in that sense it doesn't change, but clearly there's also these expectations you need to manage.
As we know, anything can happen. I mean, Tom, have you sort of healed from that loss last year?
I don't think I'll ever heal from that one, but look, it's sport. We felt we had a good shot at it. We even with 1 lap to go, we felt we were going to catch them, but it didn't go our way, and Spain didn't make mistakes, so that's the way it goes.
And Nicole, I mean, Spain right now, you are 4th overall. You have made the final just once in Auckland. It's a long season, though. Is consistency enough, or do you have to win here this weekend in San Francisco?
I think for sure, we're at the beginning of the season, so consistency is important, but yeah, you need to get into those finals, and you need to be pushing it in the front of the fleet if you want to get into the final in Abu Dhabi this year. So we're clearly focused on doing that and performing as best as we can in every event and every weekend. So yeah, San Fran is going to be the same. It's a different race course. We've been in very small race courses till now, and here it's going to be a chance to stretch out the legs a little bit and have a bit of a wider race course. That's going to change a bit up how you need to sail. So yeah, just preparing for that.
Yeah, and well, we saw the success that your team had, Giles. Congratulations in Los Angeles last weekend. That tight course worked in your favor. How so?
Yeah, it did. We had an amazing event out in LA. I think it's great for the team to roll out of Sydney with a second place, and you know we felt that we had a very, very good shot at a win there as well. So to come out swinging in LA and manage to get that win was pretty special for us as a new team. And yeah, I think we're definitely in a building process. We see that we've got a lot to gain. We're super critical of our own performances, and we're certainly not resting on any laurels there. And we're looking forward and hoping for more good results.
We talked about data. What do you analyze when you look back at the performance in Los Angeles and then what you turn around and do here in San Francisco?
Yeah, I think something that a lot of the teams are doing, I think almost all teams are doing, is that they're taking the data a lot more seriously, and also beginning to analyze that data in-house, as well as using all of the One Design software that SailGP puts on. For us, we made the decision to employ a performance analyst. So we have that support that works alongside our coach Joe Glanfield, and really what we've been able to do there is just add another dimension to that data, get another impression. We can customize plots really drive our own learning.
And that said, I mean, you were able to pull through with a win, you know, over Pete and Tom as well. You know, how you said you feel confident, you feel comfortable, you're building momentum, but how do you sustain?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the first thing that we have to do is keep our heads pretty level. You know, yes, we won. We had an amazing event, but it's super close out there. It doesn't take much to suddenly end up with an 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. And I think we understand that, and that only drives us to work that little bit harder, stay honest and pushing in the right direction. And you know, all these teams here are capable of winning events. We're no different, neither are they. But you know, hopefully we'll win a few more.
And Tom, I mean, going back to your race last weekend, I mean, you picked up just enough points to shut out Emirates GBR, but it must have been frustrating, though, to kind of open the door for then Giles to come in for the win.
Yeah, look, I didn't do a good enough job. My hands up. The starting is my area. We're on the team. As a team, we sailed as well as we have. I think we overtook more boats in that event than we ever have, but it's a lot easier when you're behind everyone at the start to do that. But yeah, I've got to do a better job in the starts. Simple as that. Yeah, don't get bitter, get better.
It seems that that's the case. It's all about breaking out first in the start. How going into the lineup, can you explain sort of I mean, of course, that's a difficult thing to do, to get out front right off the bat, right?
It's incredibly tough, and I actually our starts had been our strong point this season, and I sort of was going through it and saying, am I finding any trends here that's working for us that we're doing differently? And it's such a dynamic, fluid situation, the start. It's not like F1 where everyone gets their grid position and you know exactly where you're going to be and you can come up with a plan from that starting position. It's so dynamic. Once I can be planning to have the bottom end of the line, and then through other boats moving us around, I can end up at the top end of the line. It's incredibly tough to make consistent, and I've just got to look at it and figure out where my mistakes were and make sure they don't happen again.
Well, speaking of that start and starting strong, Denmark, you started that way as well, Nikolai. We were all disappointed, though, that, of course, what happened in that very first race in Los Angeles last weekend ended up ending it for you there in Los Angeles. Tell us what happened on the boat as we're looking at the footage here. What went wrong?
Yeah, obviously, we felt pretty good as well in the practice racing and also in that getting off that line pretty well, but it was just a silly mistake. So basically, we go around the mark, and my head's looking over the shoulder to look at the course where to go, and haven't realized that the board is all the way out, canted out to windward around the mark, which means we missed the mark by 50 millimeters. So very silly mistake from my side, and obviously, not something we want to do.
And then you hit it, right? And so how much damage was done? And obviously that ended it for you there, and unfortunately means you can't compete here in San Francisco because that is such a tight turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, these marks are quite tough. The bottom of them are aluminium, so they do a lot of damage to the boats when we hit them. So yeah, that's unfortunately the situation now, is that we're not going to be able to race in San Francisco, and it's a tough one to swallow, but we just gotta regroup now and come back stronger in Rio.
Yeah, you hope you'll be in Rio in May?
I'm pretty sure we will be in Rio in May. I mean, SailGP and the tech team has done everything they can to try to get us on the line here in San Fran, but it's tricky, and it's such a unfortunate timing for us with the back-to-back events to have it happen in LA. So yeah, it is what it is. We got to take it on the chin now and then regroup and try and come up with some different goals for our season. I think it changed our season massively, that incident.
Now, all of you who are up here know how that can go. I mean, that can happen to any of you, and just any wrong turn, any quick little maneuver, and that could be you. Denmark, you were handed down the maximum penalty, 8 season points, 12 event points. Is that a fair cost for the mistake that was made? You said it was a silly mistake.
Yeah, I think it is, because that's the rules. We all know the rules, and we all play by the same rules, so I think that was fair. That's how it should be done. Obviously, you can have the discussion in the future how you want to do it, if you think it has to be reckless or dangerous before you get damage points, that's a different story. But in this season, with the rules the way they are, that was completely fair, and that's how it should be.
Tom, you also know what that is like, having been penalized as well and having to deal with coming back from a deficit like that. Is it fair, these mistakes that are costly like that? It can sometimes be season-ending.
Yeah, I think Nikolai, like myself, we kind of compartmentalise how this is. The rules are the rules. We know what the rules are. Today, the rules are written, and we've got to abide by them. And if you make a mistake like that, we know that it's going to be season points in the overall. So, yeah, it's another discussion. Are they too strict? I don't know. We're trying to keep these boats apart. If these boats come together, there can be sort of catastrophic problems from that. And so we do need to keep the boats apart and whatever it takes. And so, yeah, like Nikolai, I just think, look, we've just got to deal with it, and the rules are rules. But what's dangerous sailing, what's reckless sailing, and what's not? I think there is some room there for more discussion. And I think if you make a reckless error and you hit another boat through fault of your own, compared to Nikolai sort of being 50 mil out from where he had to be and getting knocked out of 2 events, yeah, I mean, it raises a really good discussion point that as a league and as teams we should discuss.
Especially as the field gets more crowded, more teams joining, more competitors, out on the race course as well. This is the first time that there were 12 boats out there, and within the first couple of minutes, you were sidelined. So more of that discussion, perhaps, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think the race tracks are getting crowded. Obviously, more events, more teams, pretty tight race tracks. It just raises a discussion that these incidences could happen more and more often. SailGP as a league, I know, are working tirelessly to get as many spares on the racetrack as they can, but everything takes time. And as a league, this league is growing so quickly, and that means that more and more spares need to be provided. It's a race against the clock for those guys as well.
Race against the clock, and I imagine, Nikolai, for you, there is that pressure to perform as well, and knowing that there are so many great free agents that are out there as well. I mean, you've got Nathan Outeridge, Phil Robertson, good talent out on the free agent market. Do you worry about perhaps, the future and your own future when mistakes are made? I think everybody does.
Yeah, I think when you make a silly mistake like that, of course, I think the hardest one is yourself. I think it's extremely hard to get on after a mistake like that, and it's tough on myself, it's tough on the team. It's also the most disappointing thing is letting a great sponsor, Rockwool, down. I mean, they've been incredibly supportive, and they're always dreaming of a season final. We were 1 point short last season here in San Fran, and the dreams were we're going to do it this year. So to change their dreams and our dreams so radically is tough on everyone. And yeah, obviously we got to try and make a great comeback now and make some great stories from here onwards. It's just to put our heads down, and we need to repay Rockwool and especially Marella from Rockwool, who's been so supportive from the beginning, the best we can now. And yeah, for sure there's pressure. There's all the great drivers out there. So that's obviously not my decision, but I'm aware of the pressure that we are in as drivers, and it should be like that. I mean, if we can't perform, then and someone better can, that should be changes for sure. That's sport.
And looking ahead, of course, this weekend is anyone games. We talk about anyone's game. There's only 9 points that separate between first and fifth place as we look at that leaderboard there. I mean, 2 of the top teams, Emirates, GBR, in first, New Zealand in third. They aren't up here this morning with you all, but we know they're going to be pushing hard to hold on to the lead. Nicole, this venue favors high wind specialists. So who do you see as the biggest competitor to holding that title for you?
Well, I think a bit what Giles and Tom have also said before, it's getting closer and closer, and more teams can take out those wins. So yeah, the difference between getting into a final and not is just one silly mistake and one wrong call, and yeah, it's going to be super close, and I think it can be anyone's to grab. So yeah, I think we all just need to be sharp and really be on our game and try to improve and do the best we can, and we'll see where that brings us.
And you're also coming back from a knee injury as well. How's that going? Recovery, rehab? Are you 100% yet?
No, still not 100%.
The brace, right? Is it a little bit?
Yeah, no brace now, but no, it's a long process. In the end, injuries take a while, and you want it to be quick and you want to be back as soon as possible. But yeah, it's been a process. It's taken longer than maybe I would have liked or hoped, and it takes a lot of work. It's not only hard physically, but also mentally to kind of, yeah, be working on it daily and see the improvements so slow. So yeah, still working on it, but happy with how it's going and happy to be out here.
Good. Giles, you guys have a new motto for North Star Canada's SailGP team, elbows up. What does that mean when it comes to the aggressiveness that you're going to be showing us out there?
Yeah, it's certainly no secret that there's a little bit going on politically and in the press, but I think for us as a team, we love that we support, that we represent a great nation that is Canada, and yeah, we'll be racing with our elbows up for sure.
Okay. Now I know some of you have some interesting, good branding this weekend as well. You have a new partner, I hear.
We have a new for this
race
for this weekend. Yeah, we've last weekend we did have a new partner, Flyhouse. This weekend with some of the issues that we've been discussing here, Greg, our owner, offered up a branding spot for Rockwool. So yeah, for the weekend we'll be racing under the Rockwool branding. So yeah, I think as a team we've kind of touched on the issues that they're experiencing, and yeah, we just want to offer our support how we can. So yeah, we'll be flying the.
You'll do Rockwool proud as well, I'm sure. And I know that Nikolai, all indications right now, Rio is a go for you all. The boat will be there. You'll be ready.
That's the plan, and we'll go with that plan until we hear otherwise. But I'm knowing Tech Team and SailGP, I'm pretty comfortable with being Rio. I mean, they're the best people in the industry, and they can get stuff done. So I'm comfortable with being real.
Good. And Hans, for you, of course, being back here at home, we saw an improved U.S. performance in Los Angeles last weekend. San Fran is a different game, as we've heard all this morning. Tight course last weekend, big and breezy here this weekend. So going in, how do you expect the team will be able to perform in these tip-top conditions? And I know your family's coming down as well, so from Santa
really
Rosa.
Looking forward to having my family come out and watch. They'll be at St. Francis both Saturday and Sunday. We've been working really hard. We spent the entire week in Santa Monica with the Red Bull facility, working with their experts, diving into the data. Yeah, San Francisco is a different venue, as we've been talking about here up here on stage, and yeah, we're really looking forward to embracing that challenge and really putting to work what we've been, really working hard on trying to build the team culture, build our trust, build our foundation of how we're going to sail these boats. And yeah, we're looking forward to being able to go out there on the water and execute on it.
What are the emotions going into this weekend?
Yeah,
there's a lot on the line.
I think we're actually really excited. We're really excited for the opportunity. I think there's not every day that you get to go out in a venue like this and be able to perform in these boats against the best sailors in the world, and taking that opportunity kind of head on is kind of like the mindset we have right now. It's been fantastic to be able to sail at 2 now classic events here in the States, and we have another one coming up in June in New York. So, I think that opportunity is really, really special, and really taking that full advantage of it. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
Well, excellent. Good luck to you all. Congratulations again for all being here. Incredible athletes that you are. Thank you for your time this morning. I'm going to open it up to our media panel here as well this morning. If anybody has any questions that they'd like to ask our athletes, there's a microphone working its way around the room.
Andy Rice from The Athletic. Tom Slingsby, what maximum strength of tide current do you expect out there, and what elements of the racing will the current affect?
I don't actually know how much current. I know that I should know that answer, but as the boats go faster, you sort of worry about the current a little bit less. But it probably 2.5, 3 knots of current potentially at max. The way it affects our racetrack, a little bit which side of the course is going to be favoured at each time, but more so it affects the start. It's essentially like a moving carpet up and down the start line, and it affects your lay lines heavily, especially at the slower speeds. Usually I work out which way the current's going and how strong it's running, and I really work that into our lay lines. Other than that, it's not a huge factor for us. Just with the speed that these boats go, 2 knots is not a big percentage of our boat speed when we're travelling at nearly 50.
in marginal foiling conditions, presumably it does come into effect then.
Yes, the lighter the winds, the more it's important, especially in the start. If we're not foiling, the current is a big factor.
Justin Chisholm, Yacht Racing Live. You've been talking about bigger courses this weekend in San Francisco. There's been some really tight courses which seem to have paid for the first few boats around the turn mark who can get away cleanly and round the leeward gate and be off. Does that change the strategy dramatically this weekend? Is it a little less important because you do have the chance to overtake? For any of you?
Want to answer that?
Yeah, I think as you said, this course is, I mean, I refer to it as a little bit more drag race orientated, but I think with 12 boats, the start is still massively important. But you could look at it two ways really. On the short courses, there's plenty of more opportunity for mistakes. So if you're clean, you can pass. On the big courses, if you're a fast boat, real clean maneuvers, then you've got a bit more space to stretch your legs and get past that way. So I think the dynamics of the racing is certainly a bit different, but certainly racing here rewards being really accurate in terms of getting the boat optimally set up and at good VMGs.
Just as a follow-up, consistency seems to be the key to doing well in this series at the regattas and in the overall season. Tom, how do you get to be consistent? It seems like the holy grail.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm the guy after receiving maximum penalty points last season to answer on this one. It's really about, especially in practice racing. I know on practice days I always say to the guys, hey guys, if I see a situation here I'm not comfortable, I'm going to back out. And we have that chat every practice day to say, in other words, we can't afford penalty points. We see so many penalty points happening on the practice day of racing, and we, as a team, just say, look, there's times where you need to push hard and learn as a team. There's times when you just need to back out and say, this isn't for points, let's back out of here. That takes out one day, but then on the real race days, avoiding collisions is not easy. And sometimes it takes a bit of luck. We saw that we had a cross with the French team in LA, and I think our closing speed was close to 130 kilometers an hour head on, and they missed us by 60 centimeters. Things like that, like I'm doing everything I can not to hit the boats, but still circumstances, you get put in situations where you've got to keep the boats apart. And so there's a lot of tight moments on the course. You need a bit of luck. You need a bit of, I guess, experience and a wise head on your shoulders to say, hey guys, like this isn't our time to push it. We need to keep the boats apart. And for sure, the start line here in San Francisco, everyone comes in at very big speed deltas. Some teams are racked up, not foiling. Other teams come in flying for a slingshot start. We've seen instances here in the past on the start with the big speed deltas. And so we're going to have to just keep our nose clean there. But at the same time, if you're not pushing, you're never going to be successful. So it's a fine line sometimes.
Mark Reed, Latitude 38. Nicole, talk to me a little bit about your growth as a female athlete on the team and how you've grown personally with your experiences on the boat and with SailGP in general. How do you see that athletic growth going on? And then do you envision being able to drive one of these days?
Yeah, I think the opportunity that arose now almost 4 years ago for female athletes to come into professional sailing. I think that was a really big step that SailGP took, and it's been great for us to come in and learn and improve, and the evolution has been huge, I think, across all female athletes and all teams. So yeah, you can see the responsibilities growing inside the team, and the more experience, the more comfortable you feel, and especially like in my position where I'm trying to look out and keep the eyes out for the driver who can't see a lot of things happening around, and trying to not miss any boats and try to avoid those collisions. It's obviously a big responsibility, and with experience, every time you feel more and more comfortable helping and making those calls. So I think the evolution has been huge. And on the other question about the position, I think we're all trying to learn. We had the first big real female training in Dubai, thanks to DP World, and we were able to spend 2 days on the water, all female teams in different positions. I got the chance to fly the boat for 2 days, so yeah, trying to put time on the flight controller. I also spent a bit of time with the team, so trying to evolve in that position and see where the future takes us.
Hans, do you want to add to that? And we were talking last night about, you know, women in this sport and Anna being a grinder for your team and how, you know, incredible a feat that is. And, you know, that there are more and more women. This is a sport that's very equal when it comes to what you can do on a team.
Yeah, you know, I think it's fantastic. Growing up, the sport of sailing was something that my parents loved because it was a way for my mom and my dad to drop my brother, my sister, and myself off, and we could all sail, do exactly the same sport, go out there and come back in at the end of the day, and they can pick me up after work. And to see Anna really pushing the envelope of what's possible in a sport and obviously a role that's heavily male dominated is amazing to see. It's inspiring, and she's putting in the work every single day. She's working incredibly hard, and she's really making a huge impact in our team, and really looking forward to seeing how that role evolves, and also seeing how that evolves for women in the sports in general. It's really exciting to see, and it's only the beginning.
Yeah, and seeing Martine last weekend, you know, for Brazil and the success that they're having as well. I mean, it seems like, you know, women have made their mark, and more so. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not as if they weren't ready to, though. You know, they were always there. They're always very capable. I mean, it's not as if they need to be trained up or they need the time. It's just they need to be given the opportunity to be there and to take it on. And I think there's plenty of female athletes that are just revving to go and be able to jump into that spotlight and really show what they have to do. And it's going to be really exciting moving forward to see that happen. Well, I want to thank all of you once again for a great panel discussion. This concludes this section of our panel discussion, but you all will have a chance to ask your questions as well, one-on-one interviews right after this. Thank you again for joining us this morning. We now invite the interview stations, the media, to go progress over there, and we can continue with those interviews. But thank you to the team members here. Appreciate your time, and good luck to you this weekend in San Francisco. A final reminder as well for this weekend, a handful of tickets remain at sailgp.com/tickets. Racing gets underway at 2:30 local time here, so be sure to tune in for that. We look forward to seeing you right here on the water's edge. Thank you.